Welcome to another exciting episode of the Epic Entrepreneurs Podcast. I'm Brad Sugars, the Chairman and CEO of Actioncoach, and today we're diving into the minds of some incredible business leaders, uncovering their real stories, strategies, and the secrets behind their victories. It's not just about success, it's about the journey, the hurdles, and turning challenges into opportunities. So let's jump right into it.
I'm very excited to have on the Epic Entrepreneurs Podcast two epic entrepreneurs, and I have Kristen and I have Eric, and you guys are the owners of Jackwin Legal, and that's your last name too, Jackwin, right?
Yes.
And you're going to tell us a quote later about how you say win with Jackwin Legal. Is that right? Is that what you say, Kristen?
So I'll say I had a big Jack win this week where I was able to get a case dismissed, or Kristen Jack for the win. So I interchange, those two different phrases sometimes when I'm discussing my success stories with my clients.
I love it. I think that's great. It's really memorable. So, I want to get right down to it so that the audience can learn about what you guys have done. And you're going to tell us today a little bit more about yourselves, because you are real entrepreneurs. You're not in just one business. You're in multiple businesses. You're going to share a little bit about that today. So let's start with the top 3 things that you did that made you successful in business, and how can others follow in your footsteps?
So I would say that the top 3 things that I did, first and foremost, is taking the leap to be a business owner. That's a really hard decision to make. I worked with my father for almost a decade. So for me, making that jump was definitely a difficult decision. And it was ultimately for the best. I get to work with my incredible husband every day. So I think step number 1 is just making the leap. Being able to invest in yourself, being confident in yourself, I think that's really important when you're running a business, because it's scary. It's definitely scary. You're not getting the steady paycheck anymore. And I did very well working with my father, so sometimes I do miss that. Yeah. But yeah, I think step 1 is definitely taking the leap. Step 2 is having the right who's. And we are very blessed right now that we have a very strong team of people who are fully aligned with our vision, with our mission, with our culture. I practice criminal defense, and at Jackwin Legal, we only want people who genuinely care about the well-being of the clients. They're not with us because of money. They're not with us, just as a resume booster until they get to the next job. They're with us because they genuinely care. Our team has to be comprised of those types of people. We call it compassionate advocacy, where you hold the client's hand throughout a very difficult process. But when you got to go to war and you got to litigate, you go to war. Having the right who's is definitely essential. It's taken me, and I would say that the third one, it's taken me about a decade to build a strong name and reputation, to be able to build trust amongst my colleagues in the community, where I'm able to consistently get business from other attorneys that don't specialize in what I do. So that took a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, but mostly tears of my end, not Eric's, to build that reputation and to be the go-to female criminal defense attorney. So I think those are the 3 things that have definitely helped me be successful in business. I love networking. If I could just hang out with people all day, that's what I would do. My husband is very different, and that's why we work very well together. Right.
Oh, the networking is so important in business, isn't it? If you're not out there, people don't know where you are, how to find you and all. I love what you said. It is more fun on the other side, but it's scary. And now you're there. Would you ever go back? Oh,
no.
My gosh. Oh.
I wouldn't. You know what? When I was working with my dad, it was very comfortable. And it was steady. Like I said, I was making good money, but I was helping to build his empire, not my own.
Right.
And Eric and I are building our empire together based on our aligned vision. So there's nothing like being able to have a partner in life and a partner in business. And there's no one else I'd want to have this journey with other than my amazing husband.
Eric, rock star you are. Do you have anything to add to the top 3 that Kristen shared?
You know what? I think that being aligned, truly sharing that vision and mission. Now, I'm not even just talking about business or strictly business. I'm talking even in the personal life. Our growth journey has really helped us to become the people who we are today. It's helped us, not just chasing money, we are chasing the vision together. And we're so aligned. And that's one of the biggest key components is staying truly aligned with each other. We're checking in on everything from health to mental health, fitness to our books, our records, things like that. So that, everything, it's just not just solely business.
That's great.
And that has been like key driver for us because we're pushing each other on a day-to-day basis on, hey, I just read this great article. This is something on leadership or, just masterminding over some books that we've read. And we run a company that is masterminding for lawyers, by lawyers. So we understand this grind and we're able to come up with ideas at the kitchen table. These could be potentially multi-million-dollar ideas that, we get to share on a constant basis, which is fantastic because I wouldn't do it with anybody else. So
now, isn't it fun to talk business about someone you love when they love it as much as you do? I could talk about it all day long. To me, there's nothing more fun right now. I just think it's exciting. And, if it's fun, it sure makes it easier. Well, another thing I hear that's pretty consistent with successful entrepreneurs is you guys gave all that credit to your team just now. I'm like, well, that's a very common theme in very successful entrepreneurs, giving credit where it goes because you couldn't be where you are without them.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, that's cool.
People help to make this business tick and run. And for us, it took us a little while to find the right people.
Mm-hmm. 10 years to find the right.
And
right.
We read a great book, 10X is Easier Than 2X by Ben Hardy, Dr. Ben Hardy and Dan Sullivan. And that was a true game changer when we're both reading at the same time. And we're like, okay, we need to each focus on our 20%. We need to find our team's 20%. And we need to, put those people in the right seats at the right table, doing their best work, doing their 20% on a constant basis.
Wow. That's true leverage. I love the book 10X is easier than 2X. And when I heard you say at the beginning of the interview podcast, Kristen, you said you're finding your who. Boy, isn't that, if you can understand the importance of the who in your business, changes everything. So I'm really glad you brought that up. For those of you listening, there's a great book and they touch on the who. There's a book called Who Not How, actually by Dan Sullivan too, that is just all about the who and the not how. So thank you for bringing that up. So back to the beginning, you talked a little bit about working for your dad, Kristen, but what made you decide to get into business and why this particular business?
So my dad's actually a very big inspiration in me going into criminal defense. In law school, those were really the only classes that I actually enjoyed. So my first year, I really didn't like any of the classes that I was taking. You're taking tort law, civil procedure, property law, and none of those appealed to me. And so when I took evidence, that was when I was like, wow, finally I understand why I'm here, other than my dad giving me the little push to go to law school. But he's definitely a very big inspiration. And the coursework, criminal procedure evidence, that's when I felt inspired and motivated and excited. And for me, it's always been about helping people, helping the little guy and helping people throughout very difficult situations. So criminal is very different every single day. There's really no 2 days that are exactly alike. Now, I could think that I have a slow day and then I'm in court this afternoon, or, I have to be in court on the weekend. So it's always exciting. It's ever changing. And I really love my clients. I treat them as if they are family. So my dad is definitely a big inspiration because I think if he had been practicing a different area, I probably would have just done whatever he did. But he and I have very similar personalities. So I think that's why we both do well with criminal defense.
Well, I love that story. And, we have mentors, could be our parents, could be other people, but we have to take the advice of the right ones. And you did. The criminal attorney, you never know when you might need one.
Yeah.
Sounds like, surely not. But when you need one, you want one that's got your back and doesn't just think about whatever the crime is. You need someone who's got your back. So thank you for doing that and serving the community in that way. So in all the time that you've been doing this business, what's been your biggest challenge?
Oof.
Well, before our team now, definitely the who's. We went through, I would say, probably about 8 different people, from people with bad attitudes to just very toxic people, to people who would commit and then not even show up on day one. We had, I think, 2 of those. So, or to people who are just looking for a paycheck or just looking for a resume booster for something temporary, and they didn't really care. They weren't good team members. They didn't care to help others. So I think finding the right who's it's definitely been a journey. And now it's really just getting everything more streamlined now that we do have the right people in place. So now that's what we're working on now. But that was the biggest challenge. Thankfully, it's not a challenge that we deal with anymore.
You must have figured out a system for that. What were you going to say, Eric?
Yeah, and so one of the other key components for us is, that who, not how really was the transformative idea, and that the book. For us, it was filling out an organizational chart, going over it with each other. Well, let's see, what do we have? Who do we have currently on the team? Who excels in what division or what area? And, we're going to place them, appropriately. And so then we'll leave blanks for everything else that we're missing. In 2025, we know exactly what we're missing and who we're looking at, having to join our team this year. And, because of, the way things, work with, aligning, our team, finding the right people. We've been on this quest, and it's so great to, have people like buy into this with us. This is an everyday thing. This compassionate advocacy is something that we came up with. Really credits to you, but because we saw, I definitely witnessed firsthand, how you walk a client through a very overwhelming situation. I've been on I picked up the phone and the police are executing a warrant. That's not something that, this is hey, we'll call you next week kind of situation.
No, it isn't.
It's high stakes. It's, you have to have a plan, an emergency plan in place to help these people. And, it's emotional. It's not just the person who's on the other line. It's their family members. It's their communities that they live in. And, like you had mentioned, you hope that you never need us, but things happen. People are in the wrong place at the wrong time. It could be anybody. This isn't just people that commit serious crimes on a normal basis. This is just everyday human beings, and they are human beings. And that's the key distinction for us is treating them like family, getting to know them. That makes all the difference.
Wow.
Because we want to help them. I love this one. We take you from we take you from arrest to criminal justice success.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's good. Okay. People really can understand that. Okay, I got arrested, not sure how that happened, and now I've got success. I love that. That's brilliant. Yeah. Good.
And for me, on the other side of transactional, where I practice, it's that same thing. We're real estate based with estate planning components and business law. I mean, these are that this is their biggest asset of their life, their biggest purchase. And we want to make sure that their money is safeguarded and protected, that they know that like us and trust us. It definitely for kudos to us. I don't know if you were going to mention this, but being named super lawyers as young as we are, and I mean, you've definitely been a super lawyer for a lot longer than I have. But
you deserve it the same amount of time that I.
But it's a testament to our work ethic and who we are as human beings. We got into this industry to help and serve people. Ultimately, what we do, you help and serve as many people as you can, and the money does follow, the business does follow, but always helping people first is the top priority for us.
It's so true, isn't it? Talk about that super lawyer. What is that?
So it's so Super Lawyers is from Thomson Reuters, the Westlaw product. And what they have are essentially these peer nominated recognitions for outstanding lawyers. We're Super Lawyers Rising Stars, meaning we're a little bit younger to the legal profession. So we haven't been practicing as long as some of the other super lawyers per se, but it's a true honor to be a part of that group of people. They say it's the top 2.5% of practitioners, and I've been named it for real estate for the past 3 years, and you've been named it for criminal defense for the past, I think, 5 years.
7.
Oh, wow.
7, honey.
Amazing.
I tell you what, entrepreneurs that are watching this, listen to that, because that says a lot. When your peers lift you up like that and acknowledge you, that's a big deal. That is a very big deal. So congratulations to that.
Thank you.
And it's a testament to all the other things that you all do to get there. Talk about, so you have two businesses talk about your businesses that you have. So you have the criminal law firm, then you have the commercial side of things, which is another business, right? And then you have a third little thing that I think is awfully cool. Do you mind sharing about those?
Yes, actually, that's our passion project is Connect Esquire. So it's masterminding for lawyers by lawyers. And it's truly a passion project. I thought of the idea back when I was in law school of trying to connect people all throughout the legal community. It's evolved since then, and from that idea back when I was in law school to what it is today. And a lot of that is to definitely shout out to a lot of the coaching that we've gone through.
Oh, really? You get coaching? What company do you use for coaching, and who's your coach?
So we use Actioncoach, obviously. That's a big shocker to you. But we have Coach Michael Dill, who's been with me since 2019. Oh my goodness, even before the pandemic. So he's been an integral part of my growth because, one of the things and the reason why Connect Esquire has evolved into the company that it is today is because I went to law school. You went to law school. We studied different things in college. None of them happen to really truly be business or managing business. And that's so often, the concept is that we graduate from law school, become these legal practitioners. But when we go out on our own or, start our own firm, there's no manual from law school that says how to do that. And we really want to help bridge that gap and help attorneys ultimately live the lifestyle that we live, that aligned lifestyle. We're very comfortable talking about money and finances. There's nothing hidden between us. We're very aligned in that sense.
Oh, that's awesome. And what's the name of the mastermind again?
Yes, it's called Connect Esquire.
Okay. So if people have an interest, they can find you, reach out about that.
Yes. And we're so excited to be launching a lot of new things. We actually, previous to this this podcast, we were just on a conference call and where we're really going to help to mold our community and bring it online. And, for us, our big, hairy, audacious goal, as the Actioncoach Network may like that one.
Okay.
Shout out to Brad on that one.
Yeah.
But big, hairy, audacious goal is to go national. Like, we want to be able to help other attorneys with a lot of components of their life. It's not just practicing law. It's a lot of it is beyond the courtroom.
Sure. Yeah. I love that, you guys. That is so exciting. Thank you for sharing that. So how did you personally have to grow? Or what did you have to learn? Actioncoach is so big about learning to get to the next step. Where did you have to personally grow, and what did you have to learn? You've talked about the HR, their hiring and all that, but dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, the first thing that you have to do is really look in the mirror, and understand that you don't know a lot of things that you don't even know that you need to know about these things. And not to say that you need to go out and read an encyclopedia about everything in the world, but you do have to understand and be accepting to coaching and to open concepts. Even with our masterminding group, it's a lot of it is newer concepts, or not even newer concepts. It's older concepts that have transitioned through time and now are applicable to where we are today. So a lot of it has truly been a lot of the reading, truly doing that personal development, because I love it. Dr. Joe Dispenza. I listen to podcasts that involve Dr. Joe Dispenza, Lewis House.
Love him.
Ed Milet, all the great guys out there that are in female entrepreneurs.
Yeah, and female entrepreneurs.
Shout out to Cody Sanchez, because we love watching all of her stuff. But a lot of it comes down to just being open and honest with yourself of where you truly are today and where you want to go and see yourself in the future. People often overlook that, and it's just such a crucial component to just sit there and take a look in the mirror, see where you're at, take 100% responsibility of your life and create the life that you've always dreamed of.
The new thing now is how fast everything is. Speed. And if you're not doing it fast, you're already behind. I feel like the mastermind is a fast track. The masterminding process is a fast track. So I think bringing that to this group is huge, because they can get things in bits as they need them and get BFOs, as we know, blinding flashes of the obvious, because if you don't know, you don't know. But if you have a format to receive that information, which the mastermind to me is awesome. That is so exciting, guys. And it sounds like it's really getting ready to do some great things.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we love it. I mean, just seeing attorneys interact with other attorneys about being open and vulnerable to these business problems, these growth problems, even personal problems. I mean, it's just amazing what a group of attorneys, when they come together and mastermind over a certain topic, a challenge, an opportunity, just the ideas that flow. It just feels so magical. I love when you say that about meetings, when
Yeah.
we leave a meeting and, it's, again, it's not about the money for us, with Connect Esquire. It's our passion project because we do love that feeling after a meeting, and,
There's nothing like it.
there's nothing like it. We've helped.
Magic's a big word. If you can say something is magical, because you can't create that, it sort of happens. That's awesome. So we talked about business coaching, and you said you've been involved in business coaching since 2019. Why stay past 1, 2, 3, 4 years? Why did you do that?
So I started my growth journey a little bit sooner than Kristen here, but because she was working with her dad, and I handed her a book, and I didn't really explain it to her, and it just kind of like sparked this interest with Kristen, and it was amazing to see. So after I started seeing her growth take off, I wanted to stick with the Actioncoach just so that she could get a lot of exposure.
And we can work on it together.
Double down. Really, it's more than double down. If 2 people are doing it, it's a lot more than double. What was that book he gave you, Kristen?
It was the Success Principles. Well, I'll tell you a funny story, because the first time he bought it for me, I had COVID, and I was living in an apartment that we owned at the time, separate from him, because he kind of ostracized me and sent me back to the apartment. Didn't even give me my puppy or anything. So I was streaming videos on a little tiny iPad. That's all I had, because we
Eric.
out. Yeah. So
I was meeting with a lot of people at the time, and so
he's like,
I get it.
You gotta go
with the real estate book.
So he handed me this book, and he's like, you should read this book. I'm like, okay, thanks. But didn't say anything else to me. And I'm like, okay.
Back to Hallmark movies.
Yeah. I'm like, this is one of your weird, one of your weird, silly books that you read. So that's what I thought originally. And I did focus on it. It was the holiday season. I'm a girly girl. I love me some Hallmark. So he always knows come the holiday season that's what I'm going to be spending a lot of time on. And so that's all that I did. But had I spent the time reading the Success Principles, my growth journey probably would have started a lot sooner. And instead of watching those Hallmark movies, it wasn't a very good year for Hallmark. I like one of them that I remember. But, that
was COVID.
So I've certainly come a long way from back when that was my focus. And now I'm focused on investing in myself. And I think for me, one of the questions that you had said previously, for me, something that I've grown in a lot, I learned a very old school way of practicing, and, you kind of you figure it out yourself, and, you get upset, and maybe there's a little yelling involved. And that's really how I was trained. And so my leadership style with my team, I've come a long way, and I was not the best leader that I could have been, right? I would get frustrated, I would get annoyed, I'd get resentful. And I read the book, The Culture Code, which was definitely a big game changer in, how to treat your team, how to empower your team. And then, and that really helped me a lot. So I'm a very different person than I was when I first started. And I'm always looking to grow and to be an even better leader, to empower my team. And so I definitely come a long way with that. And there's always room for more growth. And this year is me focusing on understanding the numbers, because I'm the people person. Eric's more behind the scenes. So this year I'm going to be focusing on making sure that, obviously not at the same level as the math whiz over here, but just so I have a good understanding of them, because I'm just like, I bring in money and I don't know where it goes.
Right.
And that's it. So getting better with that is something that I'm focusing on this year.
Good for you. I love all the investment you have. So final question, top piece of advice you have or that you would give to another entrepreneur?
The top piece of advice that I would give to another entrepreneur is to let them know that there's going to be difficulties. It's not going to be easy peasy. And this is actually a conversation I just had with my younger sister, who she makes her own custom jewelry. And we had I go and I help her sell it on the weekends. And we had just a really bad time where, no one bought a single piece. So and she got very down on herself. And I told her, I said, Brittany, look, if it were easy for everyone to own a business, everyone would do it. It's not easy. It's how you're going to pick yourself up after you've had a difficult day, after you've had to fire an employee, after, had trouble bringing in leads, right? It's how you use that and you see it as an opportunity and you take that in, you look at it for what it is. Okay, now I know that this is not a good market to sell at, and you use that as information and you don't let it get you down and you keep moving forward. You keep plugging through, you keep pushing forward, because it's not going to be an easy journey. If anyone tells you that it's easy peasy and it's rainbows and butterflies, it's definitely not.
Yeah.
And don't compare yourself to other people, because there's some people that, and it's something I told my sister too, there's people on Instagram that take videos of them eating food and they make more than I do as a lawyer. And that's okay. So yes, some people get lucky, but I'm not going to compare myself to them. So we need to be focusing on comparing ourselves to ourselves, where we came from, to be a culture of progression, not comparison.
Right. I love that. Progression.
Yeah,
It's all about that.
Dean Graziosi, that was a great one.
Yeah, I stole that from him.
Dean Graziosi had mentioned that we're a culture of progression as opposed to comparison, because it is so true.
It is that, right? Well, I want to thank you both, Kristen and Eric, with all of a sudden like Jackwin Legal,
yes,
and the other businesses that you have, and also your Esquire business. I think that is so awesome, and I hope people reach out to you and want to learn more about that and take advantage of that you're sharing all of that abundance with them, right? And there is so much out there for all of us if we just open ourselves up to it. And it sounds like you all are doing that, thriving on it. Thank you again for being my guest on the Epic Entrepreneur podcast, which you are epic entrepreneurs. My name is Coach Lee, and I'm with Actioncoach Business Coaching. Thank you guys. It's been great to get to know you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure.
And that's a wrap for today's epic conversation here on Epic Entrepreneurs. Huge thanks to our amazing guest for pouring their heart into sharing their journey. If you enjoyed this episode, hit that subscribe button, leave a review, share it, or hit that bell. But until next time, let's make sure you keep dreaming, take massive action, and stay epic.